أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. There's no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inshallah, hope all is well. Happy Saturday. We will continue on with the second station of the 15th ray on page 607. So we've been traveling around with the interesting traveler who's walking us through on how should we pretty much seek light, or really what does it mean when I hear and from him do we seek help? Like, seriously, what's going on? What kind of help are we talking about here, and who are we seeking help from? I think the examples that were laid out in the first example and the second example really sort of let us know that everything that we come across points to the same source of existence. So the author always make use of the sun analogy. So if I were to learn about the sun, one has to ask the sun itself. So now, in order to journey in to find and become acquainted with our creator, how can we do that? Really through our experiences and the manifestation of all sort of qualities and attributes that we come across. And yeah, so that was pretty much what was covered, at least what I recall, but I'm sure there was some more pointers, and if anyone wants to share those out, feel free to do that if you have anything to add on. Okay, so inshallah, let's continue on with the third example. So those of you who joined us in, we are reading from the 15th ray, second station on page 607. The third example of the hundreds of his observations during his journey. The traveler from the world who wanted to know his creator through the manifestations of his names and attributes turned to his mind and imagination and said, "Come, like the spirits and angels, we shall leave our bodies behind and ascend to the skies." Come, like the spirits and angels, we shall leave our bodies behind us and ascend to the skies. We shall question the inhabitants of the heavens concerning our creator. His spirit mounted his imagination, and his mind mounted his thought. And together they rose to the heavens. They took astronomy as their guide and looked with the view of the philosophy, which does not need religion, and the currents of those who have received your wrath, and those who have gone astray. He saw thousands of heavenly bodies and fiery stars. 1,000 times larger than the earth and traveling 100 times faster than a cannonball, speeding one with the other, unconscious, lifeless, and aimless. So he saw thousands of heavenly bodies and fiery stars, 1,000 times larger than the earth and traveling 100 times faster than a cannonball, speeding one within the other, unconscious, lifeless, and aimless. If by chance one of them had confused its way for a second, it would have collided with another unconscious globe in that boundless, empty, infinite world, causing utter confusion and chaos, like doomsday. Interesting. So looking at obvious things around us, galaxy, very good example. Millions of actions are going on. Even right now, the earth is rotating, everything is in motion constantly. So if things were to be acting on their own, yep, definitely there'll be confusion and chaos. However, it does not seem as such. Things seem to be coming into existence, coming out really with perfect equilibrium and measurement. And so definitely there must be a conscious agent behind such management, such operation and organization of the universe. Good reminders. And so although I would be curious to know why the mentioning of these verses, those who have received your wrath and those who have gone astray. What is this referring to? Maybe my state of mind when I think things are just happening on their own. Yeah, the universe is in motion, but yeah, that's all there is to it. Maybe that kind of attitude would lead me astray to what my human nature requires, and which is really to get acquainted, just like the author said here, with the source of existence through everything around us. All right, let's just continue this piece and then we can take a pause and chime in with our queries. Whichever direction he looked, the traveler was filled with terror and bewilderment. He was sorry 1,000 times over he had ascended to the skies. He was sorry 1,000 times over he had ascended to the skies. His mind and imagination went utterly to pieces. They declared, our duty is to see and point out fine truths. We resign then from observing and understanding such infernally ugly and painful things. We do not want any such thing. Yeah, it's interesting how many times do we bypass things around us. Yeah, we should be more careful and conscious of the conscious agent behind everything that we observe. Then suddenly, through the manifestation of God, is the light of the heavens and the earth. Numerous names like subjugator of the sun and moon and sustainer of all the worlds, each rose like suns in the constellations of verses such as And we have adorned the lower heavens with lamps. And we have adorned the lower heavens with lamps. It's from Quran, section 67, verse number 5. And do they then not look at the heavens above them, how we have raised them and adorned them? And do they then not look at the heavens above them and how we have raised them and adorned them? This piece is from Quran, section 50, verse number 6. And then he withdrew to the sky and formed it into 7 heavens. Quran, section 2, verse number 29. Then he withdrew to the sky and formed it into 7 heavens. They filled all the heavens with light and with angels, transforming it into a huge mosque or military encampment. They filled all the heavens with light and with angels, transforming it into a huge mosque or military encampment. The traveler entered the current of those whom you have blessed. The traveler entered the current of those whom you have blessed. He was saved from that of those who have gone astray. Oh, interesting. And or the believer state is like the depths of darkness in a vast, deep ocean. Interesting. He saw a magnificent land as beautiful and well ordered as paradise. Oh, interesting. So now I'm trying to connect the verses here where pretty much connecting creation to its creator help us extract the meaning which is required as a created being. So that's how one is saved from pretty much not paying attention to really what can be the source of existence of anything here. Interesting. Displays right in front of us. So just like the traveler, he saw a magnificent land as beautiful and well ordered as paradise. Observing that on all sides, its inhabitants were making known the all-glorious creator. The value of his mind and imagination was increased 1,000-fold, and their duties advanced likewise. The value of his mind and imagination was increased 1,000-fold, and their duties advanced likewise. So observing that on all sides its inhabitants were making known the all-glorious creator, the value of his mind and imagination was increased 1,000-fold, and their duties advanced likewise. So the duties of like the things around, so it makes more sense that things are just not acting on their own, but we can unpack more as we go on, inshallah.
The duties of the mind and imagination. So our human faculties. Go ahead. No, I'm saying the duties of the mind and imagination. So what our purpose here? What is the purpose of our mind, imagination, our life, our eyes, our feelings? They have to be diverted in a particular way. This is how one can benefit from the light. So as the starting verse was, to God belongs the light of the heavens and the earth. So, and our observation of the universe and the guidance of the scripture of the Quran brings us that light and introduces us, our thoughts and feelings, to be on the right path and not of the ones, as you were saying about the heedless, those going on the heedless.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful. That makes sense. So referring to the Risale-i-Nur, the other observations of the traveler through the universe, which are comparable with these three examples out of hundreds, together with knowledge of the necessarily existent one through the manifestation of his names. Here we suffice with these brief indications and cut a long story short. So referring to the Risale-i-Nur, the other observations of the traveler to the universe, which are comparable with these three examples out of hundreds, together with knowledge of the necessarily existent one through the manifestations of his names. Here we suffice with these brief indications and cut a long story short. Now, like that traveler through the world, we shall try to know the creator of the universe through the works and manifestations of only three of his sacred seven attributes: knowledge, will, and power. For details, we refer you to the Risale-i-Nur. So prominent qualities that we can deduce from our observation is really that there must be a conscious agent or a conscious will behind the operation of anything, and whoever that agent is must have knowledge of each and every little measurement, particle, anything that needs to be done, and that pretty much display power and glory. Okay, let's continue. The following piece in Arabic is the sum and substance of the Arabic Hizb al-Nuri, which is, see page 501, footnote number 78. Okie dokie. Should we look into that? Which I constantly recite reflectively. So page 501, footnote 78. Let's just check what he's referring to, maybe. 501, footnote number 78. Maybe this guy?
It's a 45-page Arabic piece.
Oh, the one that starts with "in his name be he glorified," that one?
I have it in the book.
Oh, you have it in the book? Let me see. Okay, so it's page 501. Do you want to read it?
Sure. So it discusses what Hizb al-Nuri refers to. It's a 45-page Arabic piece, which Bediüzzaman described as manifesting the meaning of the Hadith. An hour's reflective thought may be better than a year's supererogatory worship. A luminous proof of the Risale-i-Nur, a supreme invocation springing from it, and a small sample of it.
Thank you.
So an hour's reflective thought, thinking thought, may be better than a year's worship.
It's interesting. Yeah, he mentions that in other parts as well. Thank you, Asim. Powerful indeed. Let's see. Let's go back to where we were. So what's he saying here? Let's do this. So he's saying the following piece in Arabic is the sum and substance of the Arabic Hizb al-Nuri, which I constantly recite reflectively. It expounds 3 of the 33 degrees of the phrase. God is most great, Allahu Akbar. It expounds 3 of the 33 degrees of the phrase. Okay. God is most great, Allahu Akbar. This is followed by a sort of translation of the Arabic piece consisting of brief indications, which opens up the way to acquiring belief in divine knowledge, will, and power at the degree of this vision of certainty. So this is followed by a sort of translation of the Arabic piece consisting of brief indications, which opens up the way to acquiring belief in divine knowledge, will, it's interesting, which opens up the way to acquiring belief in divine knowledge. There must be a knowledgeable one. Will and power at the degree of the vision of certainty, through pointing out their manifestations in the universe, a subject which greatly preoccupied the scholars of theology and of the tenets of belief. Through pointing out the manifestations of knowledge, will, and power, the following indication thus open up the way to complete belief at the degree of knowledge of certainty in the necessarily existent one's existence and unity, and to the affirmation of that belief. Okay, we can stop here for now. And let's just look into what was covered. Anybody wants to share out their immediate thoughts, reflections, or anything? Ali Mermer, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Our friends prefer to be silent, so we respect their choice. Because I just wanted to understand what are we reading and what can be the purpose of this reading and what is going on here in general, not a specific part of the text that I wanted to discuss, share with you. First, we read the piece which is called The Supreme Sign, and it consisted of 2 parts. One part, as far as I remember now, generally having a physical relationship with the physical aspect of the universe and see what is reflected there, which kind of meanings the mind, human mind, intellect can collect from there, which kind of conclusion the mind can come up with. That was the first side and the first section. The second section, he went into this universe at the end of the first section of the journey. The traveler concluded that yes, this universe seems to be meaningful and pointing to something beyond its own capacity, which is the subject of religion or prophetic messages, not the philosophic interpretation of the word, which philosophic means, not accepting the creator of the universe, not accepting anything which one can extract from the way the things are created and they are functioning like signs to the necessary existence of something else. So his interest turned to religious sources. It means those people who claim that this universe has a creator, and this creator is communicating or must be communicating with human beings through their mind. So he investigated what the prophets are and those people who speak about the word, which is not a part of the universe, physical universe, but the something, the meaning that the universe, the way the universe exists, points to. So from there, he went to the prophetic teaching. What do they say? Those people who follow the prophetic teachings, which kind of experience they have, etc. That was the second part of the supreme sign. Now we are studying the third part of the supreme sign, and I asked myself, what is the difference now? I found out that the difference here, now the person was using his intelligence in order to understand the meaning of the universe, in order to understand the meaning of the message of those people who claim that they are employed by the creator. But again, intellectual experiences. And then now I notice that, I think we all notice that here the person is trying to internalize all the conclusions that he reached, or he or she reached, out of his journey through the existence and the conditions of this world, and also the intellectual study of the scriptures, etc. Now, which kind of effect they have, or impact, which kind of impact they have on my spiritual experience, in the experience within my own feeling. So at this stage we learned that, or we read that his spirit mounted his imagination, and his mind mounted his thought. Now they are going together now. And they start imagining, because they are not specialists, they use the information that is people who are experts on astronomy or whatever the people study. Some people study physics, physical side of the sky or the heavens, and followed the secularist approach of the world or the sky. Of course, what appears to be there, when you look at with secularist mind, we see only huge stars, galaxies, billions, countless of them. And this is just what we can see, no end at all, according to the description of the Quran. This is what those people speaking about is nothing but the lower part of the world, lower heavens, just Sama ad-Dunya in the language of the Quran. Where you depart your imagine by using your imagination, depart from the earth, this globe of earth, and start imagining the sky. What you see, you can see the stars, something up there, maybe using the most powerful, available, powerful telescopes, and just you are seeing the lower heaven. Lower heaven. It is ridiculous. Quran says 7 heavens are on top of each other like this. We have to go and investigate it even more and more. Hopefully human beings will discover further layers of creation in the universe. Of course, if we look at the world with the secularist mind, which kind of feelings we experience, and use the word, those who received your wrath, those who have gone astray, what does it mean? Your spirit will suffer. That is, now, if one denies, that's what we should understand first. If any human being does not want to submit the reality, the truth, and accept that this universe has an owner, has a creator. This is the law of the creation in the universe. Whoever chooses this way, he will experience wrath in his spiritual feelings. Although who have received your wrath, maghdub, of course, in original language, there is no your wrath. Your is extra here. I don't know why they prefer to use your, because in the Quran, maghdub means somebody who has received wrath. But they say this is God's correct, but the man, for example, if I have the knife and cut my body, it hurts. It means I am receiving wrath. But this is how the order of the universe is. Regardless of anybody, even the prophet cuts himself, he feels the pain. But this is physical example of it. Spiritual example, even the best man in the world, whatever you call it, or who he is, but doesn't admit the creator and their relationship with an absolute, their connection in their existence with an absolute being, he will end up with complete despair. This is the law of the universe, and this is what this man is preferring, wrath, like the person who cut himself and hurt himself and felt the pain. This is general rule. That's why when God says, I'm going to punish them, means my law, my order of creation is this. If someone cuts his body, he will hurt, he or she will feel pain. That's my rule. That's why I said, I'm going to give him pain. That's what when we are reading the Quran, we have to be careful. He says, I'm going to punish them with pain. It means I have put this order. But whoever chooses this way, cuts himself, he will feel pain. Like this, general rule established by God. Not necessarily that God is specifically treating this person. Yes, it is a specific creation, but at the same time, this man has chosen to be tortured, if you like. For example, if I throw myself under the train track, or when the train comes, if I throw myself on the track, I have been given death. That is what the English, in the language of the Quran, it says, Allah killed him. But in fact, it is the act of creation is from Allah, but who deserves death here? My choice. It was me. So we have to understand that those who have received your wrath is not your wrath because you got angry with them, because the wrath, the pain of spiritual unsatisfaction or distress, spiritual distress, is the principle in the order of the universe. That is how God treats everybody equally. We have to understand this first in order not to accuse God that, oh, God punished me. Specifically, yes, God creates everything specific, but it is, He creates within an order. You deserve it, He gives it. You choose it, He gives it. That is His rule, principle. We have to watch out for this order. So this man, this person experienced the secularist approach to the creation as far as his imaginary journey of the heavens, it means stars, galaxies, is concerned. This journey ends up with pain. So takes another option because he had gone through these options before. What the secularist people, how the secularist people explained the universe and how the prophetic message explained the universe. He said, oh, it is very painful. I cannot really trust myself anymore. That enormous things are going on there. It is just frightening, threatening, nothing else. But let me see what the prophets say. But this is, if you like, spiritual experience. It means within his or her own feelings. That is what we are reading now. And when he took the view that what the prophet said, they say, look, these people, they said these things out there seems to be acting on their own. It is impossible. They are acting on the control of of the one who created them. That's why the verse said here, where was it? God is the light of the heavens. He learned this. And where is the forelock? There was a verse here. He has grasp the forelock of everything. Am I confusing? Yeah, it is before. Last Saturday we read it. So here, they should look at the heavens and how we have raised them, adorned them. It means, look at it. We will understand that they are not really raising or staying there for themselves. They are not really beautifying themselves, but the creator of the universe is creating them in this way. So he understands the difference now. Not only intellectually, which doesn't make sense, concluding that the universe acting by itself happened to be by itself, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I understood, but at the same time, let me see which kind of feeling I will have by following the secularist approach or the prophetic approach. And he concluded that this prophetic message is completely compatible with the requirements, capacity, requirements, expectations of my spirit, my feelings. That is what I understood, that we have to follow the same thing. First, we have to look at the things from with our eyes, from our physical appearances, which kind of qualities they have, just reasoning, and then see the prophetic message. Again, just reasoning, can they be true? How can I prove them, etc. Of course, this is also intellectual activity, but at the end, we have to also try to experience it within our feelings, which kind of repercussions, which kind of experiences they have impact within on my feelings. So how can I really feel, or how am I feeling when I follow the secular approach and when I follow the prophetic teaching? Which one fits my human capacity? That is a very good journey, actually. We have to go through this journey as well. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Shahrani family, I extended my talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Ali, go ahead.
Actually, I was just hoping if you would please, if we could talk about what really is the difference between those who go astray and those who have earned wrath. Why are we given two descriptions? Is that all different?
Okay, thank you for your queries. So anybody want to make a comment on the two verses that are highlighted, those who have received your wrath and those who have gone astray? How do you understand it? Let me see. You wanted to say something. Okay, go ahead, Brother Ali.
If anybody wants to make a comment on it, I would prefer it, but I'm speaking a lot. Please go ahead. Maghdub and Dallin, the difference between why one of them is receiving wrath, the other one is going completely astray. No. Anyways, if anybody wants to say something, please chime in with no hesitation. Interrupt me. I will be pleased if I am interrupted, because I am a bit ashamed of speaking too much. Now, what I understand, Maghdub means receiving wrath. In the general explanation of the Quran, the Quran presents this case generally like this. Those people who know people what the truth is. They know, they are aware there is God, the Creator. They are aware they have been created for a purpose. They are aware that God really cares ourselves. He doesn't really leave us alone here. He created for a purpose. He is really educating us, trying to educate us, but I am a lazy student. What happens? I go to college or the university or the school, and I know I'm supposed to be in class, but playing video games or chatting away with my friends, hanging around, making fun of the things is attractive. What happens? I know I have to be in the class. Come on, in class now. But it is very charming. I'm just, having good conversation with my friends. But inside is, I should be in class. I should be in class. It's from within. He knows what is missing. What is missing in him. He's aware of it. That's what he feels the pain completely, that he's not really being honest. So these people are described in the Quran by giving an example like those Jews have the Torah in their hand, and the truth in it, as the Quran says, there is light in the Torah and there is guide in the Torah. Yeah, Nurun Wehuda in Torah. Yes, it means they know. They have to really worship God alone, not be, for example, not deviated, cover it up somewhere, make it a national racist religion, and make God also a racist, separatist, I don't know, unjust God, in order to feel that my race is higher, my race is the noble race in the world, others should follow us, serve us. That's what essence of nowadays Judaism is all. That's why there's superiority, seeing the right to, for example, transgress some people's rights. They're taking up their homes and lands and just throwing them into camps like animals. They can do that because of their understanding of the tradition Judaism nowadays. But originally they know, most of the rabbis and educated people are very much aware that this is not what Torah teaches. Torah teaches good to your neighbor. Serve them. They know what it is, but it is sweet. Also, it is not only for Jewish people. We know that most of the Muslims also are nationalists. They say Arabs are superior, or the other ones say the Turks are definitely superior, beyond question. Egyptians have another claim that, of course, we are the leaders of Muslim scholarship, so we are the knowledgeable people. The other Muslims should follow us. This kind of divisions are, of course, Iran is another matter, completely different matter. So we are also, to a certain extent, if we follow this kind of separatist superposition or claiming superiority over somebody else, or any kind of things, deviations within the teachings of revelation, corrupting the revelation, not taking care of what the Quran requires or guides us to do, not to do, etc. We feel the pain. These spiritual feeling is called ma'tub, those who gain wrath. It means pain in there constantly, because their consciousness is aware that they are not doing what they are supposed to do. They know it. It is very alive, very painful. Whereas in the case of Dalin, they go astray. It means they totally disassociate themselves from their source of existence. They say, here we are. We have no responsibility to anybody. I am not a student in a school at all. There is no school. Come on, what are you talking about? So try to enjoy yourself. Temporarily, they don't feel the pressure consciously pressing on them, having a heavy impact on them. They think, or they treat themselves, no. After we die, nothing will happen. There will be no pain. I want it, but this is just a wishful thinking. There's no reality. So what does it do now? It elevates the wrath, the effect of wrath on them. Temporarily, but definitely, subconsciously, deep down, they know that that is not what they are supposed to experience. These are dalin, gone astray totally, although they don't feel the heavy pain, if you like, not following what is supposed to be followed, not doing what is not supposed to be done. They are under Marduk. And I myself experience this within myself, with my own feeling. When I know that I should not get angry, I should not get excited or out of control, when I know I should not really ignore that I am always under the supervision, control of my Creator, my Lord, every moment is under His dominion. Intellectually, I know it. There is no other way to explain it for me. I'm sure it is for you too. All right? Well done. Good understanding. But if something goes against my ego, if something challenges that I don't want to have it, I don't really take it as a means of education, as a means of training, but start developing negative ideas, critical view of the Creator. Why does He put me in this position? Complaints. I feel the pain. When I say tawakkaltu ala Allah, hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, we studied this on Sundays. No. I don't know, on Sundays or Saturdays. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. I have to trust Him. This is what my training is all about here. I have to just do my duty. When the teacher gives me a homework, I have to take it and do it. I can't do it, I have to do it. He doesn't give me a burden on me that I cannot bear. He doesn't give me the assignment that I cannot really fulfill. But I have to do it because of the preparation for the ceremony, graduation ceremony that I will enjoy eternally afterwards. Now, believers, if someone feels the pain, it means he's a believer. If someone tries, pretends to have no pain at all, although deep down is there, but denies it. There must be a reason why I am here, but he says, it is not at school. I'm not going to attend I'm not expected to attend this class. I'm not expected to do my assignments. No, feel free. That is the difference between Dalin and Marduk. That is why Dalin people seem to be happy with their lives, laughing, dancing, etc. But Marduk people start to produce excuses. Yes, I know God is merciful, but this is too much. Look at the complaint now. The other one says, no, there is no such thing. Why bother? Seems to be comfortable. Most of the people of the world, they know God, but they don't relate their existence to God. That is something else. But they don't know religion. They don't know the, living conditions assigned by our Creator. They believe in God. That's it. They don't feel pain as well. They say, oh, I believe in that. I confirm that. That's it. I'm done. I'm not denying God, but live his life as if there's no responsibility, no eternal life, no God's surveillance over them, no God's really presence in their life. They say, oh, he's my Creator. That's it. These people seem to be very comfortable. But if you look at Jewish, especially Jewish, because Judaism is a very religious, very serious religion, Judaism, like Islam, maybe really stricter than Islam. and Muslims, they are divided so much between the quarreling, not like this, not like this. Everybody starts to fit their understanding of religion according to his expectations, but knowing that something is going wrong. This struggle, these divisions between the sects in the within any religion like Islam and Judaism shows that the pain is there. They are trying to justify their pain in a way, if they can really interpret the text according to their desire, this way or that way. We do that. We all do that. Muslims, Jews, all do that. And we keep quarreling between ourselves. But atheist people go to the conference, listen to one of them, they say, it is wrong. Why? You interpreted the way the things work in this way wrong. I will find a better way of. Does it bring any responsibility on their feelings? Not at all. At the end of the conference, they go together and drink their alcohol, try to enjoy their life, pretending as if nothing serious, really. It is an intellectual quarrel at all, totally external, nothing to do with their feelings. That's why these people seem to be very comfortable. They are happy with their life, and the Muslims and Jews are quarreling with each other, miserable life. They are trying to interpret the text in this way or another way. They say, why bother? The texts that you are trying to understand has no reality. Forget about it. Feel comfortable, man. Feel free. That is a very interesting subject. I'm very pleased that the Shahrani family brought up this difference between Maghdub and Dallin. In some classical texts referring to a hadith narrations, which I'm aware of, then Maghdub, the companions asked the Prophet, who are the Maghdub? Are they Jews? He said, who else? And who are the Dallin? Are they Christians? The Prophet says, who else then? I mean, of course, which means Judaism and Christianity differ from each other. In Christianity nowadays, I mean, not the original Christianity, the teachings of Jesus, of course, but later on, it is Christianity turned in the Nasrani religion. So it means turning Christ into God, then become Christians. Nasara is their original name. Anyway, title. So the Christianity, because the Christ, not God, but the Christ, became in the center of interest, and the name turned into Christianity, and this form of religion developed in the course of time through invention of this Trinity, making up, justifying something. But what they do, they materialized God in the form of a man. That means God is gone. That means God now has lost his authority over people, and then they are with a man like themselves as regarding the Lord. That's what the language they use. The Lord, our Lord. Our Lord means, in Islamic tradition, in Judaic tradition, God. In Christian tradition, a man. So the Prophet explained that Dallin means not really believing, if you like, in heavenly God, but in earthly God. So they are looking for the happiness by following an earthly God. That's what Dallin. Deviated the direction of their path, whereas Jews and Christians still, Muslims are still, their path goes to sky, if you like, heavens. It means nothing to do with this world. not the sky that astronomy describes. Of course, nothing to do with this universe. But their direction goes over the earth, within the earth. There is a beautiful description at the end of 30th word of Nursi's writings from the book 30, from the book The Word. 30th word, the first section. If you read it, 30th word, first section, which is, you are looking for it, and I appreciate it. 30th word, here it is. The end of first aim, there is a very figurative teaching of, or interpretation of Dallin and Maghdub and Sirat al-Mustaqim. Yeah, you can read it there slowly and patiently, of course, and see this analogy made there. And you will understand much better than what I tried to explain it. So we should not reduce it to Christianity and Judaism, but including the Muslim attitude as well. If I am a Muslim, one page. Here it is described here. Yeah.
Oh, did you want to read this? I was just going to give quick feedback.
I mean, not now. You can study it as whoever is interested in. Study the last piece of this section, where you will find that the text is talking about Dallin, Maghdub, and Sirat al-Mustaqim, the followers of the straight path. You can read and study it, because it is not our subject now. Our subject is what we are reading. How can we spiritually experience what the message of the prophetic message of the Quran. How can we spiritually experience it? And we should. Yeah.
Okay. So the way that I'm relating to it is that I have seen those, I have seen the Jew and the Christian within myself. I've seen, you know, the one who feels wrath, and it's usually related to a secret, secret perception of a tyrant god, some unsettled understanding that I have of, you know, who must be putting me here and what he wants me to do here. And he actually has tyrant attributes, and it's not a, 100% good God. It actually has still some attributes of oppression. And then, as well as that, and those are things that I think lead to, like you said, when you find anger or something that's rubbing up against your ego, I find that part of myself is related to this misperception of who the one who put me here must be. And then I've also found the Christian as well. And, you know, in fact, I was a Christian, and for me, the Christian is the one who attributes power to numerous things, including time and order and created beings and or institutions. And, so I find those, I think, on a daily basis. And then what's left is like is to try to find like this middle path of the Muslim. And like, it's like these three possibilities all exist. And then it's whatever I choose is the path that I take. And what I'm guided on. So that's how I'm relating what you have said, shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely melody in the background. Jazakallah khair for sharing your comments. We are at time, so we will stop here for today. Inshallah, next Saturday we can pick up from page 609. From In the Name of God, the Merciful, the Compassionate, and the verse from Quran section 17, verse 111, inshallah. Thank you all for joining in and your lovely comments, contributions, inshallah. We will see each other again. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati sirra surat